Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Howdy Partner on AWS On Air. And what better day than today? It's Partner Day, right? We had the partner keynote this morning. I'm AM Grobelny. I'm a dev advocate here at AWS. I'm joined by one of my favorite co-hosts, Marie Shimansky. Marie, you wanna introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks, I am. And yes, I'm excited to be here. There's so much going on this week, so many fun announcements, lots of partner excitement as well. My name's Marie, like AM said. I am a partner solutions architect here at Amazon. And we are joined today by one of our advanced tier partners, Cohesity. And we saw their CEO earlier in the partner keynote, join Doug, and they just discussed their journey with AWS and how they built their data management as a service solution. And so we're really excited to have Doug from Cohesity on today to share a little bit more about how that's going to impact customers. So let's welcome Doug. Doug, can you introduce yourself for us?
Hey, thanks, Marie. And super happy to be here. Super excited today. Given again it's Partner Day, and we're just super grateful to be part of it and be part of the keynote. I'm Doug Coe. I'm responsible for product marketing at Cohesity for our cloud products and solutions. So very much entrenched in what we did today with our data management as a service announcements and launch. Cohesity, we're a software company that was founded about 7 years ago, by our founder and CEO Mohit, who was on the keynote, and it was really around how can we simplify and redefine the data management experience for enterprises, and the company's being built. We're a Silicon Valley company. We have some of the top tier investors in us, including actually recently Amazon as well. So not just the top tier VC firms, but Amazon corporate has also invested in Cohesity, and we've been validated by some of the top analysts firms out there, like being a leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant or on the Forrester Wave and whatnot in the data management and backup and recovery space. So it's really it's been a fast journey for us and growing as a company. We really focused on helping customers simplify their data management experience, and that started off as a software product, right? And that software product helped customers consolidate their data centers, consolidate a lot of data silos, and do that both on premises, right, in their data centers, but also have been running on the AWS cloud for quite a few years now, and customers can take our software and spin it up in an EC2 instance and start consolidating data and doing that already. So we've already had, I think, over 400 joint customers to date, even prior to today's announcement, just working together and helping customers manage your data in the cloud, migrate and archive data, and move that data to Amazon services like S3 and S3 Glacier. Today's announcement really is even super exciting because I think it really takes us the next step of the journey with data management as a service.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to stop you right there. You just used a phrase that I'm really curious to learn more about. But we heard from Andy in his keynote, right, about the immense just sprawl of data and how data is just being created at unprecedented and crazy speed, and keeping up with all that data is it's a Herculean task. So you just said data management as a service. What does that actually mean? What does that mean for Cohesity? How do you all help with data management as a service?
Yeah, so data management as a service is really a portfolio of SaaS offerings that we believe will help customers radically simplify the way their data is backed up, secured, governed, analyzed, and all in a SaaS-based model, right? So they get capacity-based pricing. Obviously, the infrastructure, they eliminate the infrastructure because we're leveraging the AWS cloud here. They're eliminating a lot of those data silos, and really it gives the ability to consolidate that data across a variety of use cases. It typically starts with backup, but then it goes towards things like archiving, disaster recovery, file and object services, copy data management, dev and test, analytics, and really trying to address that in a single unified offering. So as I said, it's really a natural extension of what Cohesity has been doing today, right? A lot of these capabilities that I just described is what we already do in a software world where customers deploy that software on-prem or deploy it in the edge or deploy it in AWS and manage that and manage their own infrastructure. But really, we're taking the next step and giving customers more choice so they have it in an as-a-service SaaS-based model. And kind of given the current challenges in current times, a lot of customers are really looking at what more can I offload, right? And offloading that infrastructure, offloading that management in an as-a-service model, right, is the next logical step in giving customers that choice. Really, what we believe a choice of deployment models of what they need.
Yeah, no, that's great. And you kind of touched on it in your intro, but we saw Cohesity's CEO and our partner director, Doug Yeum, earlier this morning. So for those who maybe missed that session, what exactly were they talking about?
Yeah, for sure. And again, I'm sure you guys are going to have a replay of that. So welcome anybody to join a replay. I believe Mohit joined in about 12, 13 minutes into Doug's talk, so early on in his talk. So but in summary, Mohit really talked about he talked about DMAS itself, where he talked about, he also talked about some of the challenges, right? And you hit upon some of it. Andy hit upon some of it in his keynote. Data is all over the place, right? It's in data centers. There's still a ton of data in data centers. It's in the edge. It's in a variety of devices, and it's in the cloud. And again, AWS is the largest cloud provider, but there are other cloud providers out there that the data gets basically fragmented in a variety of places, and that's inefficient because it's difficult to manage. It's also inefficient. We've actually did some research on this, as typically customers and organizations have anywhere from 4 to 16 extraneous copies of data because it's all spread out all over the place, and you don't really know what it is. That's a huge amount of waste, right? That's a lot of storage and a lot of data that just goes to waste. But forget about just the cost associated with that. Think about all that data and not knowing what that data is doing, right? That data is dark, and what that means is the customers are either unable to gain insights out of that because they just don't know about that data, or even worse, right, that data becomes a liability or a risk because it's at risk of as a data attack service, maybe for ransomware attacks, or it could be something where again the data could be lost and fallen into the wrong hands, right? So really there's a lot of challenges associated with that, and Mohit talked quite a bit about that, and that's one of the reasons why we chose to work with AWS to build data management as a service here. And part of that was leveraging, he talked about really how we leverage the AWS SAS Factory team, which was super important for us to really take what we had already in a software product and really accelerate our build out of data management as a service in a SaaS-based model. So again, the SAS Factory team was super helpful, both in terms of working with our product and engineering teams, right, to really look at how we could re-architect, refactor the current software product and make it run very smoothly on the AWS cloud. But also, what was super engaging, at least for my part, is really engaging with SAS Factory on the go-to-market models and marketing tactics as well too. So, really working with them on building out everything from managing our sales pipeline, pipeline to, we launch a service and we have a free trial. How do we execute on that free trial, right? So they were super helpful with that too. And really the last thing Mohit talked about was really, the announcement of the services themselves that we're rolling out with DMAS. So again, DMAS is really a portfolio of service offerings, and the first one we're offering is backup as a service with our Data Protect delivered as a service product. So that provides simple backup of your on-premises or cloud data sets into our DMAS cloud that's running on AWS, and that's generally available today. Right, customers can go up, sign up, get a free trial, and start using it. And we also announced, site continuity delivered as a service, which really provides the next level of data management, which is disaster recovery as a service. So that gives customers not just the ability to back up their data, but also the ability to fail over and start running some of those workloads in the cloud if they were to experience an attack or experience a disaster where they need to fail over. So yeah. No, lots of things were discussed in the 7 minutes that Mohit was talking during the keynote, and yeah, we're just super excited about that.
Yeah, you mentioned SAS Factory, which is one of the cool and unique teams offered by the partner network, right? So a team of solution architects that help businesses go and transform into a SaaS to deliver whatever software they've already created to people without having to install anything, right? Be it an API or just some sort of UI or something, right? They've done this with many partners, and they also launched today the reference architecture, reference project. So you don't necessarily have to get paired up right alongside an SA to start working on creating your own SaaS out of your business. But yeah, I wanted to ask more around Mohit mentioned some deeper integrations or more integrations with some of the more advanced services inside AWS. Services like Macy or SageMaker. What are you all thinking around that? And what can you tell us about those integrations?
Yeah, no, thanks for reminding me, AM. I didn't quite talk about those, and really, the vision for data management as a service is huge. So, I talked a lot about backup. I talked a lot about disaster recovery, and then some people might be thinking, what does that have to do with services like Macy or SageMaker? And the answer is there's actually quite a lot, right? And what's cool about it is, when I start thinking about DMAS, beyond backup and beyond disaster recovery, I start thinking about the cloud becoming the center of gravity for data. And basically once it's on AWS, so we really think about backup as an ability for us to collect all that data, right? Again, that data could be on-prem, it could be running on other AWS services, it could be running on other clouds and other SaaS services. It doesn't really matter, right? We're collecting that data and protecting it in the AWS cloud today, and that's great, right? It's there, it's acting as an insurance policy. If you need to recover your data, you could get back to it. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. And when I think about services like Macy or SageMaker, right, it's really about how can we turn that backup data and do more with that, right? That data is traditionally, as I said, dark. Now we could actually shine light on it and make it much more useful, right? So if I think about something like Macy, right, we could start taking some of that data that's been backed up and really analyzing it and classifying it for compliance purposes, for example, right? Some of our customers are in highly regulated industries, so they need to ensure that there's no personal identifiable information or compliance data, and really start classifying. So that's a very simple use case with Macy. SageMaker, obviously, AI ML, that's pretty hot in the market today. I could think of several use cases. Some of it, we could leverage directly ourselves with Cohesity. So, I could think of today, we already have some capabilities built into the product where, we could detect activity on your primary storage or on your servers, that potentially can be a leading indicator of a ransomware attack. So we can ensure and signal around that. Well, now I'm thinking, we could potentially leverage SageMaker and some of the machine learning algorithms and some of the enhancements that were announced this week to further accelerate that and detect some of those risks and attacks even earlier in the process, or provide actionable insights to prevent some of that. And that's just from a security and prevention standpoint. The flip side of it is, you could take that backup data, right? And some of that can be useful data that you use to train an AI model, right? So a customer can leverage that data that they backed up, and then you feed that into SageMaker, and I believe there's some new pipeline capabilities too now, right? And leverage that and integrate that, so they could do their own machine learning with their own data sets. So again, taking a step back, this partnership, the broader vision of DMAS, right, is much bigger than backup or disaster recovery. And it really is about doing more and using your data as an asset.
Yeah, no, and you kind of bring me to the curiosity point I was thinking as you were sharing about that. And really, you're capturing the larger piece of, there's so much data and cloud backup out there. And so for those developers and data nerds, why should they care? And I think that's a point that we can drive home here, kind of with the solution that you're talking about.
Yeah, for sure. I think, that's part of it is kind of alluded to what I just talked about, is that, it really is about going beyond backup, right? And in the past solutions, the backup data was really just like a tar ball, and it was just kind of put there and it's dark and you don't use it. It really is about turning that data from an insurance policy into a monetizable asset. And with data management as a service, developers and data people can now start taking advantage of this. And one way to think about it is, developers are in the cloud today. It's their preferred platform. It's their preferred place to start developing new applications, new use cases, new microservices. We all know that, right? But there's still, again, a huge amount of data that's sitting on premises, sitting on legacy systems that's not being tapped into, right? So just thinking about something like data management as a service and using backup, now you get access to that data, right? It could be something where, again, a legacy ERP system or a legacy database, right, that you couldn't really access due to security, or you couldn't access production because the IT staff couldn't. Well, you could potentially take that backup copy that's been backed up and start analyzing that or using that for your new application, or integrating that with some of the microservices or serverless services that you're building into your application. So I think developers should really care about this, because it gives them much broader access to data that they might have not had access to today. And the same for data nerds and data analysts, data scientists, right? It's opening up that new set of data. I think again, the new data, the data that's generated in the cloud, generated from existing data pipelines, that's fine, right? They have access to that. But there is, again, all this other data that they haven't had easy access to before, or had to jump through hoops and security protocols to do it. Now they have much easier access to that, and I think that, again, really opens up the world is their oyster to really leverage some of this data.
I think I get the last question on Cohesity before we have to shift over to talking about reInvent and announcements and things. But the last question that I had about Cohesity is, how do I go get started with data management as a service? What if I want to go try it out? What should I go do?
Yeah, for sure. No, as I said, our Data Protect backup service is already GA, general availability to the public. So, and we have a free 30-day free trial. Customers, can go to our website, cohesity.com/a free-trial, right? They can sign up there. Connect up their on-premises environment, like their VMware or their file servers, and start backing up their data. Most of their customers that have been on the preview have done all that in 30 minutes or less. So super simple. Again, cohesity.com/free-trial.
30 minutes or less. I like it. It's the pizza guarantee, right?
That's right.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, well, the cool part about getting to chat in real time is that we get to chat about kind of the news that's happened throughout the week. I know we had Andy's keynote earlier. We had obviously touched on Doug's keynote earlier this morning. But was there any other news or announcements from this week that got you really excited about what's to come?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a slew of them. I mean, I'll talk about, just on a personal note, I've been in the storage industry and working with cloud for a long time. I actually remember, the company I was working with like 15 years ago, when Amazon first announced the S3 storage service. I was actually working in a software company that was doing object-based storage as well. So when S3 was first announced, that caught my eye. So I've been following AWS for a long time. So all the storage announcements, like the S3 enhancements that we saw were super interesting to me personally. Our team uses S3 as well, and S3 Glacier as part of our data management as a service product. So I'm sure the engineering team will be working on enhancements to leverage some of those new capabilities. I was also excited about the EBS GP3. Again, just coming from a personal level, I worked on similar type products and offerings. So just, good to see Amazon, bringing up that next level in terms of that high transaction, high IO capabilities. Again, ways we could leverage it as part of the product set. But, also super excited about the SageMaker enhancements. Again, I already talked about some of the potential use cases, both how Cohesity might leverage it as part of our DMAS offering or as part of our core products, or how customers can do it. So again, the data wrangler and the feature stores and the pipelines built into SageMaker. I think those are pretty cool announcements. But if I take a step back and I kind of look at the announcements over not just this reInvent, but also the past couple of reInvents, the ones that really kind of hit me and our industry excite me is really when you look at the broader choice and selection AWS is providing around hybrid and rolling your own and giving choice. So last year we were an AWS Outpost launch partner, so that was super important. And I know customers want to have that capabilities within their own data center, and then that's one of the things we're providing with data management as a service. Right, you could have it managed by Cohesity in the cloud as a service, or manage yourself with software in your own data center or in the cloud. So that aligns to us, and I think some of the newer announcements that Andy put out this week with ECS. EKS Anywhere, right? Giving customers the choice, right, to deploy their Kubernetes clusters on premises with your distribution. That really just aligns with the vision we see, where customers are asking for that choice of deployment model, but still have a consistent and unified experience and a single platform to do so. Those things really excite me.
I was going to say probably those two. Dealing with as many people as you do with data still on-prem and things like that's got to be really helpful and exciting to start leveraging more AWS things in your own environments. So
absolutely.
Cool. All right. So we're going to wrap things up here. We're almost out of time. You've been watching Howdy Partner here on AWS On Air. Be sure to visit the Cohesity booth. And Doug, before we run off, is there anything else that people should do or can, other ways that they can engage with you all? They should be able to see under Doug's title, there's the Cohesity Twitter handle. So be sure to tweet at Cohesity if you have questions or anything like that. But any other engagement methods that you'd suggest for people watching during reInvent?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely visit our booth, our virtual booth here for the next couple of weeks. We have several sessions still coming up. We have actually tomorrow, we have a customer panel about breaking down data silos and winning against them. So I'm super excited about that. I think we have 3 or 4 customers joining us tomorrow. That's tomorrow, December 4th at noon Pacific time. So again, I don't have the session ID directly in front of me, but it is listed on our virtual booth. And then we also have our breakout session where really it's about being how to become a data management genius and some of the best practices. So that session's available on demand, but I also believe we have a live cast of that on December 16th. So welcome a lot of customers to join up on that too. And by the way, I know people love giveaways. We do have giveaways for customers that are interested, that sign up for a meeting. So so definitely some pretty good giveaways we're giving there. So again, welcome anybody who wants to come and get some goodies.
Oh yeah, that's what everybody's here for, really. All
right.
Yeah, we're not in Vegas, but there's still goodies available.
Awesome.
Speaking of other sessions, we will have more Howdy Partner for you throughout the coming weeks. Every Tuesday and Thursday at this time, 3 p.m. Pacific, we'll have a new partner to talk with. So excited to talk with you today, Doug. It was really, really exciting for me to see you all in the actual keynote with Doug Yeum and Sandy and everyone. It was just a lot of fun. So I want to thank you for joining us on Howdy Partner. Marie, thank you as always for being one of the best co-hosts out there. And
too kind.
We'll catch you all on the next episode. We'll see you then.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys. That was fun too.
Bye. Thanks, Doug.